Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45. And this evening it's going to be huge because there's testing happening in Sepang, and there's a lot of crashes that's going on. And I want to say I want to bring it in order of people's name, but I don't know if Shakes is ready to talk about Sepang yet. So I'm gonna bring Cheetah in, and let's make this thing happen. Welcome to the show, Cheetah, man. How's everything?
Man, Mr. Rex, pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me once again, man. It is an honor as usual, man. And there's a lot that's changed in the last week.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot. It's one of those things that we'll wait to get everybody in. But I think some people are got off the hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How's the weather in Atlanta? You back to shorts and t-shirts yet?
Oh yeah, since yesterday, dude, it's been amazing. So yeah, hopefully it stays that for another 5 days, but you know how it changes soon.
Yeah, man, no doubt there. I definitely know how it does change. I hope it doesn't, but we're gonna keep it moving and bring Shakes in, man. Let's do this right way. Bobby Shakes.
Here we go.
Right. I need two assistants, Bobby Shakes. I know you're connected.
Yes, I hear you. Lights, camera, action. There we go.
Right. What's good, man? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Chilling. How you doing?
Man, you know what? Honestly, it's been tough. I ain't gonna lie.
I've it's been some good news though for some of us. I mean,
it is motorcycle racing, but I'll be back
about the motorcycle racing. It's good for some of us. It's just setting the stage for Marquez win. I mean, let's get it. We don't wish anything on anyone, but just setting the stage, and we're ready to go.
Bobby Shakes, you're gonna have to change that color from purple to red, bro.
You know what? You're absolutely. You know what? You're absolutely right. I'm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm almost ready for some Purple Rain to start playing.
Hold on a second. Hold on. So give me a minute here. I will make sure that is a request. Hold on.
I think we need red and some Rage Against the Machine Shakes.
There it is. There it is.
You requested. We rewind. Was that the
rewind? Yes, absolutely. We're ready to go.
No doubt, man. It's crazy, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So let's hold tight, Bobby Shakes. We're getting this thing moving. This train is on the road. Mr. Jordan Long racer, man. Listen, between the you're in Atlanta too, so the weather's good for you as well. We might have to get you to change your background to maybe red. I don't know.
Well, I'm a little bit north of where Cheetah's at right about now, so I'm a little bit closer to the racetrack. So I'm a hop, skip, and jumping away from Road Road Atlanta, not Road America. So yeah, weather is really good. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, my bike will be ready for Barber for the next track day.
Oh, that's what's up. You gotta give me some dates. I gotta look at you. It's funny. When you're away from the track, you don't realize how much you miss it until you know you're going.
Then you get the butterflies. You get nervous, kind of like. Ooh.
Yeah. And Barber is a nice track, man. Well, let's bring everybody in, man, because it's a very hot topic. The shakedown, as we would like to say, not Bobby Shakes, the other shakedown, the MotoGP shakedown. Jorge Martin, Digin Antonio, Does Jorge Martin get a pass? I'll start with you, Shakes. He won the world title last year with Ducati. Went to Aprilia. He still wants to hold the number one plate. He goes to Sepang, and I believe he broke a foot and a shoulder or some part of the arm. And if you reign in world title and then you hurt yourself, do you get a pass for the next season if you're not ready at the beginning of the season?
So we switched teams.
Yeah.
We switched teams. We chase the money. We can't deliver. Then absolutely not. That's a huge jump, right? I mean, you go from over here to over here because the grass is greener over here. Over here doesn't look like the grass is greener, right? We know the rule change is coming. No.
So no pass?
No. How do you get a pass for that? How would you get a pass for that?
He's hurt. I mean, you think about when Zion Williams hurt himself before the season started. When I'm dating myself a little bit, Blake Griffin hurt himself before the season started.
No, absolutely not. Listen, muscle memory is different when you go from bike to bike. These are things that you got to think about. Like certain bikes, they handle differently. They weigh more, they weigh less. There are more RPMs here, less RPMs there. There's a lot of things that go into it. Seating position is back. You're forward, you're back. Tank is bigger, tank is smaller. Foot pegs are different shapes and sizes. These are all things you got to take into account when you're chasing a world championship on a brand new machine. It's a brand new machine.
All right.
It's a brand new machine. It's not a lateral move. You went from apples to oranges, and you're upset that the rind tastes sour. You can't eat apples. You can't eat orange skin. You can't. Some people do, but you can't. And you can't give a guy a pass. You can't give a guy a pass.
Who's your football team? When I say football, I mean soccer. Who's your football team?
I'm going to be very embarrassed to say this.
And when was last?
It's Bristol City.
Okay. So no pass.
No pass. I mean, in England, you got to root for the town that you're from, and I'm from Bristol, so I root for Bristol City. I'm a gas head, which is why I'm on the show.
Cheetah,
you know why I'm called the gas head?
Go ahead.
When I was a little kid, Bristol City and Bristol Rovers is a petrol gas station that's around the corner, right?
Uh-huh.
And the fumes used to leak as a young kid when I used to go to these games as a young kid. So the gas has affected my head.
I got you.
So I'm a gas head.
All right.
And that's just what it is. I'm sorry. Hey, you can't give a guy a pass. I know this is different sport, same problem. You're with Mercedes, right? You go over to Ferrari, right? Your body, your muscle memory can adjust to the new vehicle. Season is coming, and now we're crying. You got the money. You got to perform. That's it.
Cheetah. I did mention that the man hurt himself and broke parts of his body, not just the switching of bikes. What do you think? Does he get a pass this year? Because he's going to come back like Morbidelli did last year in a sense. He's not going to be ready at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I don't think he gets a pass because he's the champion. I think I just feel bad for him because if you remember the meme that they put out when they picked Marquez over Martin, that was bad. You know, when they put the meme of the girl looking back with the boyfriend and the one who's looking at Marquez and not Martin. And oh, it's bad, you know. So Martin got the bad end of the stick there. So, but he's on Aprilia now, and I mean, the CEO said it's not his bike. It's not the bike's fault or his fault. So whose fault is it? Is it the tarmac's fault? Is it the tire's fault? What is it? It's not the bike's fault or it's not his fault. Somebody's shit is broken, right? Excuse my French. So, and I feel bad for him. So I think it gets a pass because who would have expected to break his bones and all that? But that thing is different. And one thing I'll say before I finish this up is whenever I did see the Ducati riders back last year, he was the one that was one of the most aggressive, that would shake the bike a lot and was sort of on the edge. He wasn't like Lorenzo. He was more like Marquez, but he was shaking the bike a lot. Right. So I always thought like, man, is he getting away with this because it's a Ducati? I always thought that. And I was like, I wonder how he'd fare like on a Honda or something. But, so I hope that I didn't,
I sort of thought the same thing in a sense that was he being a little bit too aggressive, too overconfident? I haven't won a world title on any stage, But we hear stories of people coming back when they're trying to repeat, that some people are not in shape, not as focused, not as committed. Jordan, do you think any of those things may have happened? Maybe he's just too happy. Maybe he won too many parties. Maybe just like, I got this.
I have to kind of agree a little bit. Does it get a pass? I don't think so. Like a couple other people said that, he went from one motorcycle, went from one machine to the next. And a couple of people did the same thing, not just him, but a couple other people changed bikes also. And they didn't have the same issues or same things kind of going on. But I think that he was just, I have to agree a little bit. Maybe he was partying a little bit too much because I saw a lot of him in after parties and doing, Dwayne Wade stuff. He should have been concentrating over here, but he's mingling around over there. And, a couple people actually did crash on pretty much that same piece of tarmac that weekend. So it wasn't just him. But like I said, now the team's saying, well, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't the bike's fault. Like Cheetah said, well, then whose fault is it?
Right.
He did go out on semi-cold tires, but he's not new to the sport. He's not new to anything. Like I said, I think he may have just overestimated the bike coming from, was it like 3-4 years on Ducati, and now he's on Aprilia. So it's just kind of like, a shock to the system. Maybe should have, taken a little bit of time to get the bike warmed up, take a little bit of time to understand, to Bobby's point, maybe get a chance to understand the bike a little bit more, get symmetry down before he starts nailing it and trying to go for records and stuff. So I don't think he gets a pass, but I think later on in the year, he's going to show that he does have potential because I've seen his skill before. I've seen it. I think he'll come through towards the end. If not, like I said, there's a lot of good times out there for the test. So I think it's going to be a really good fight, at least mid-pack season on.
Right. Now,
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say to be the other side of the shoulder, because we were talking about the angel on the shoulder and the other side, right? So I don't want to say he's race quality, race champion. I don't want to say it's the partying per se, because had he crashed the same crash and he didn't get injured or bones broken, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it was he really partying. It would just been he got up, and it's just sometimes it's luck, sometimes the way you crash, and it's unfortunate.
Right. Right. It could just be bad luck. I mean, was it not last year before last was Luca Marini, Bastianini, those guys at the beginning of the season got hurt, and we had to wait for them to come back and stuff like that. I was going to say Raul Fernandez also got hurt. He has the most seat time on Aprilia now, and he's out of the situation, out of the box for a little bit as well. So now it's Bezzecchi, and we got the new guy Iagura. We also have Di Antonio down and hurt as well. And I don't know if it's the same shoulder or different shoulder, but he definitely struggled last year. Who is it? We're not going to talk about. We will talk about Marquez and Pecco in a little bit, but we're looking at the people that are hurt so far. Is it worse for Aprilia than Ducati, because now Ducati only has 325 bikes, so now it's really just Pecco and Marquez.
I mean, if I could jump in, I think it's actually going to be not just a learning curve for Aprilia, but it's really going to be for their time to shine. If they really put it really well, it'll be really for their time to shine. Because, I mean, they've had good riders in the past couple of years who've really stepped up as wild cards and really either have gotten a podium. If I remember one rider who got on a podium, can't remember his name right now, short guy.
Pedrosa?
And then Pedrosa, yeah. Pedrosa got on a podium, and they've been competitive. So for them to really get a world champion, current world champion, in their seat and not utilize his talent, his skills, injured or not injured, is really going to put them, be like, okay, how do we make this work? How do we move forward from this? How do we fix this, fix that, and hopefully dial in the bike? Because they could dial in the bike within the first couple of races. They still got some time to play with, but really, if they just focus in and don't get really scatterbrained, then like I said, Aprilia will definitely be, a name to be reckoned with, a team to be reckoned with.
What are your thoughts, Shakes? Aprilia in trouble? Ducati, no big deal, because we have seen in the past, in 2024 and 2023, the factory guys struggle like the first 1 to 6 races before they figure things out.
I don't think Aprilia's in trouble. I mean, what am I talking about here? I mean, my lights are red. Of course they're in trouble. I almost forgot. I think this is Ducati's year. Aprilia. I mean, what is the day-to-day from Martin? Like, what are they thinking? How many weeks? I mean, what's the medical report on that?
Don't know for sure yet. We're still waiting.
Yeah.
Okay. What they say?
Ruled out after 1 day high side. We definitely know he broke a bone in the foot and
wrist or something.
Wrist or something.
Yeah.
And when you see the crash, not to cut you off, Shakes, when you see the crash, that leg didn't look like it was in the right way.
I thought he was going to have a concussion for real. I saw that crash, and I was just like, concussion was the first thing on my mind. And he said he wasn't conscious, but he was able to get up, and they said they scanned him, no concussion. I'm surprised about that. Kudos to the helmet company.
Yeah, he face planted. Yeah, for sure.
What I'm seeing is a fracture to the right hand and 3 in his left foot.
Wow. So what are you thinking for time?
Hey, listen, Rossi came back after 4 weeks with two broken in the leg in 2 places. He came back like after 4 weeks.
I'll comment because I just broke my hand and got surgery about 11 weeks ago. Not a motorcycle accident, but I got screws put in. I'm good. I can grip 10, 11 weeks out. I can think I can start riding next week if I wanted to. So but the foot I broke a year ago.
Yeah.
And if you broke it in 3 spots, I'm going to say the foot. That's a hard thing to put your weight on. That's what you rest all your weight on. You can kind of ease up the hand a little bit. If it's a throttle hand, it's going to be worse because you're braking with it too. You don't shift anymore with your left hand because there's no clutch used anymore. Right. But your feet, oh my God, you can't do 28, 30 laps, long laps. Right. Yeah, that's going to take some time. Yeah.
They have some good drugs over in Europe that we don't get to test. How Rossi did that because I want that same thing. Kobe went over and he came back dunking on people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of great medicine over in Europe. He's a superstar in the sport. He's going to get the best medical attention. If you're thinking 6 weeks, I don't think Aprilia's in trouble.
Really?
Because now he's going to be playing that crash back in his head, right? So now if he's home, right, listening to the data, reading the data, watching the crash over and over again, that's also training, right? It's not like he's going to go home and just. So now he's like we said last week, right? They know they're switching gears, what track it is, what turn it is, and all that stuff. So in his mind, right, he's replaying the accident. What gear I was in, how did I lean, blah, 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 blah. So all that data, he's just going through it. And then now he could really judge to see what he did wrong on the bike. So if he gets back in 6 weeks, we're good. But if we're talking 8, 10, MRIs, ligament damage, and all of that stuff, then Aprilia could be in trouble. If it's just broken bones, but once you start talking ligament damage, sensory,
I guess I should say in trouble in the sense that he's not going to be in the title run.
Oh,
I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I don't know how quick he heals. Okay. I don't know. I mean, you can't. Of course, I like to say that, but I don't know. I mean, some people come. What if he comes back in the seat in 5 weeks? Well, what
And
if
when you
he's able
say
to play through the pain? I mean, who knows?
when you say in trouble, I'd say it's too soon to judge. It can be if he gets in his head. That could get in his head, right? All year he spent on Ducati, a couple of years, boom, he jumps on this, and right away,
Right.
out for 8-10 weeks. If it's surgery, it's 8-10 weeks before you're on the bike, maybe 6 weeks before he's walking. These athletes, 6 to 8 weeks to surgery. Yeah, they can heal back with real surgery and screws put in. Not on the bike, though. It's going to be about 10 weeks, realistically. So hard to say.
Hard to say. Marquez looked pretty good out there day one. Pecco was down in the 90th, 20th, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Pecco's always kind of been down in the pile at testing. I think he has a different mindset going into testing, which makes me go back to Jorge Martin in the sense that it's a new bike, it's a 25 bike. You're still learning a lot of things. Was Martin pushing too much? Should he probably been taking a little bit easier? When you see Pecco that's down that low, and Marquez, I think, finished third. So, and a bunch of Ducatis finished in like top six. Six is pretty much mostly all Ducati. So it doesn't seem like there's a trouble. And maybe Martin probably should have not worry about maybe hitting the top of the timestamp.
I definitely think that I'd say he has nothing to worry about. It's lots of times I know with the other teams with Yamaha and everybody else, they were just testing a lot of stuff. They were testing a lot of stuff. So to say that, they have anything to worry about, I don't really think so. I think they were just throwing some stuff out there, and Ducati was playing around with not too many other spare parts and stuff like that. It was just getting people up to speed, mostly with Marquez, getting him up to speed and getting him in colors and, making sure that the suit worked. That's pretty much about it. Everything else was just, okay, everything worked. Is everything looking good? That was pretty much about it. I mean, it was out for photo laps. It wasn't really out there setting any blazing times. He was out there just, hey, look at me. That's it.
Right. And you mentioned Yamaha. Let's
I gotta mention Yamaha. Come on now.
No, yeah, let's I mean, Quartararo was at the top of the time stand. So should we not, it's no big deal then. Like it's like this is not a return of Yamaha then if it's not.
There we go. Look at Shakes over there. That's right. Put the blue on. There you go. Yeah, I'm impressed. It may be too soon to say, right? It may be too soon to say, though.
Hold on. Give me a minute. I'm going to really impress you. Give me a minute.
Did his hoodie change colors too?
He's gonna switch his suit on us.
His hoodie changed colors, man. I swear.
Oh, listen, man. But yeah, is it too soon to say Yamaha is back? And I don't know for sure, but are they on the V4 engine? Is that what they're testing?
I don't know.
I thought it was a 25 that they can switch over to the V4 engine, but I remember they was talking about it. But they was doing a lot of testing also, and like I said, they was on timestamps also. They was pretty much top here, hit and miss a little bit, but they was doing some pretty good stuff. But I don't think they was doing the business to where they needed to do the business. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, they're definitely. I know they tested the V4 engine already, so I just don't know if it was for this round, but the last round, it definitely they did roll it out, and that was the top.
I believe it is. I believe it is.
So
looking at the new Yamaha M1 is what they're saying.
Gotcha.
Well, it probably is a new engine. Like I said, there he goes. So yeah, there probably was at least just testing it, seeing how it runs and like that. Because I know it was, like I said, everybody's testing a whole bunch of different things. So I mean, Yamaha, from what they said when Maverick was on the team, that engine was pretty much done. They needed to go a different direction.
Yeah, no, it was like a Honda Civic.
Yeah, racing against a Porsche.
Bobby, we know you're testing that hoodie out. This is just testing.
Oh, so
This is just testing.
well, I used to wear this hoodie because on the demo days, I used to ride the R6 and teach people, So I have this. I have my Yamaha racing hat. I also have my Chad Reed official motocross jersey when I used to do motocross stuff. I can't fit in it though, Jordan.
We'll change that. We'll make it work.
Yeah, I want to see Yamaha. I want to see Ducati run, obviously.
Right.
But I want Yamaha to return back to the pinnacle.
Correct.
I think it's time.
And I think they will, but the question is, would they? Well, they're not going to return before the new moto change, right? It's fair to say.
Well, no, because we said last week that we want this. Well, 3 weeks. Well, for the last since we started the show, we're saying we want to see a clean Ducati run.
Yeah.
But let's. We need more competition. Like we said the other, like Jordan said the other time, right? We're tired of seeing the same factories. We want to see diversification. Is that even? Can I even say that word anymore with what's going on in the world? Am I allowed to say DEI in racing?
I don't think it was ever in racing.
Can we talk about bike colors?
And that's why I'm kind of rooting for Aprilia right about now, because if Aprilia can really make a stamp and a really good mark, besides them selling a couple of bikes on the street, which their bikes on the street are pretty good, they'd be able to, change it up, shake it up. Like Cheetah said it before, it's kind of like, you only have those two brands kind of coming up, and they got a little bit of a stint here and there. Besides Valentino Rossi, for him running Honda for many years and switching over to Yamaha and kind of dominating there. I mean, there's really no other diversity, DEI, in the works right about now. So Aprilia, they started off on a bad note. Yeah, hopefully everybody else can kind of learn from that. But like I said, it was testing. They was throwing stuff. Every team was throwing stuff at each other left and right, and hopefully everybody learned something, because they're going to 2-3 days of testing. This is just day one.
Right.
They've got some stuff to probably still throw at the kitchen sink.
Okay. So at the end of day 3, who's on top?
Ooh,
Marquez.
It seems like it. It seems like it.
I'm gonna say Brad.
Let's just say there's gonna be a few more Lenovo laptops selling this year.
No, I'm gonna say Brad.
Really?
Brad, I mean, you get him a short run, pew, he is to the races. Give him the long stints, you fall out. But you give him 10 good, man, Brad. And I'm not a South African either.
You could drop the South part. He finished 12th yesterday.
Yeah.
Can we call you a South African American? No. Southern African American.
That's funny.
You're in the South. Aldeguer was up front, finished 4th for the day on a 24 bike. Alex Marquez finished 3rd. Morbidelli. So, man, the only person that didn't, did Gian Antonio, he crashed. Well, he finished 7th, but he crashed out, so he's done for a little bit. So we got a Honda in 6th place, Joanne Mir, and we got a Yamaha in 1st place, and then a bunch of Ducatis around.
You can't call Johan Joanne. You got to call him Johan.
There you go.
Johan Mir.
There you go.
Are we talking about Zacco or are we talking about Mir? Which one?
Yeah, right?
Aren't they both French?
No.
I think one's Australian or something, or New Zealand.
Mir should be Spain.
Zacco's French and Mir is a Spaniard.
He's Spaniard, right? Okay.
Yeah. But KTM is nowhere around there. Is not no. Yeah, I guess he finished. Yeah, 12. That's the highest.
11th.
No,
Well,
11.
11.
I forgot about Acosta.
Did you guys hear how Digi crashed?
Turn 10.
I don't know how he crashed, but I know he hurt himself.
Yeah, he basically he's ruled out of the 2 days of crash because he crashed at the close of the end of the day, breaking his left collarbone.
Yeah.
And you know why? It's because embarrassingly, it's believed he tucked the front into turn 5 when landing a celebratory wheelie, which he pulled after a practice start.
Oh, dude.
Turn 5 seems to be taking a lot of. Turn 5 seems to be a doozy.
So what's worse? Is it Aprilia champion coming in on Aprilia, not knowing just to kind of keep it at 80% instead of 95? Or is it this guy tucking the front after doing a celebratory wheelie?
Tucking the front.
It's not factual, but like I said, it was actually, hearsay. They don't know if that actually happened, so it's just hearsay right now.
Put it up on Cycle News if it's hearsay.
I know some of the guys at Cycle News.
Yeah, that'd be my only concern. No, it's never like I showing off is never good. I know guys that been trying to show off in front of girls and run into poles and all type of thing, and and not to say he was showing off because he probably just having fun and trying to entertain whoever was there or anything like that. But yeah, crashing doing something like that, even when I think it was Bisecki and I don't know if it was Marini or one of these guys or Celestine crashed after they won and both bikes fell over and stuff like that. You don't want those things because it makes you look a little bit unprofessional.
Well, the pros aren't any less susceptible to it. In fact, they're more susceptible, even though they got that faster hand-eye coordination. Everything's coming faster because they're going faster. Even if you guys remember the best, it happens to Casey Stoner coming out of the second to last corner at the ring, Saxon Ring, in the warm-up lap. Before the race starts, he high sides and he can race. Yeah. That happens to anybody. And it's just, luck. Sometimes it's just bad luck.
That happened to me once. I crashed on a warm-up lap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you gotta wait and watch the race start.
Here's my excuse. Here's my excuse for crashing on a warm-up lap. I changed tires, and I was literally switching out from another company to Dunlops. And everybody who runs Dunlops, I think Rex and Cheetah, run Dunlops. You need at least you run Pirellis. You need at least 45 minutes on the warmers. And I was.
You thought we were in Dunlops?
Dunlops, yeah. You need 45 minutes on the warmers. I mean, nothing less.
On a hot day.
On a hot day, yeah.
Wow.
So literally 15 minutes, and I'm like, they sounding a horn. This is the Nationals in Mid-Ohio.
Right.
And, people are in the stands, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to even go into that story. But literally, I'm like, I'm going to bust my head in one of these corners.
Yeah.
I get out. We get on a lap. We get up on a warm-up lap. I get from under the tunnels, kind of, okay, feels good. I get to turn 1, the chicane, and I'm kind of like, okay, doesn't feel bad. Okay, well, I'm giving a little bit of lean. It's kind of like, okay, I got some grip. Right when I get into the keyhole, I'm like, hey, I think I may be boop.
Yeah. I crashed on Dunlops, and that was until the last race the other day. I haven't been on Dunlop since. I think if you're a fast person or you have the ability to brake hard, gas hard, Dunlops are perfect for you.
Yeah.
But if I will say I'm not Lorenzo, but I find myself I'm a smooth rider. So
no, I brake hard and gas hard too. I used to run Dunlops though back when I was a novice, and I've only ever tucked the front on a Dunlop. Yeah. So ever since I've been an expert, I've been on Pirelli. Knock on wood, it's all been good. And I do brake hard, and it's never that. Maybe that's the ticket, right? That may be some of the points because the one thing I've noticed is I keep it more vertical for longer, while people are leaning it in a little more because they're off the gas or off the brakes. I mean, so when I'm on the brakes harder, I'm forced to kind of keep it at a certain higher angle and then I tip in at the very last second.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
tall are you, Cheetah?
I'm a fan of Pearlies.
Can I ask a
6'2",
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
6'2".
So, Jordan, you knew that the situation was kind of sketchy with the Dunlop, right?
Because I knew I needed some time or heat on them. So yeah.
Right. And you still wanted to push the envelope.
Not really push the envelope. I was trying to tippy toe it. Like I said, I was not trying to push it. I was just trying to tippy toe it. But I knew for a fact that if you tried pushing it early, like I said, the carcass is a little bit stiffer than the Pirellis. The Pirellis, their carcass is a little bit softer, and they can grip a little bit more with less heat. With Dunlops, you just need to plant them with enough heat, just like the Bridgestones. The Bridgestones are almost the same way, to where if you don't put enough heat in there, not to say you're skating on ice, but you won't have that grip. It won't be pliable until that temperature comes up. And that's why their temperature, their pressures are a little bit lower than a lot of other manufacturers. Because once they kind of heat up, they expand a little bit more, and then you can really plant them. Like I said, once they're hot, oh yeah, you can tip them in. I felt like I was going to low side, and that thing just shot me right out. So
even tire guys don't like putting Dunlops on compared to Pirellis. Like on the tire, on the rim, it's harder to put a Dunlop on than it is.
Oh wow,
Pirelli.
stiffer.
Yep.
Just stiffer.
No, yeah, stiffer. Yep, stiffer.
There you go.
Hopefully, I answered your question, Bobby.
No, that was good.
Guys, I wanted to ask a question if you don't mind, Rex. Like, we were talking about like how speed perception last week. We were talking about speed perception and how some people get it, some people don't. Is it genetic? Is it a built skill? That's a good debate, good argument. What's the difference between like someone that's a pro versus an amateur? Rex. We'll start with Rex.
Yeah. Your speed, I guess. I think that's the big difference. I mean, your lap times. You know what I mean? If you're running, fast lap times, then because to answer your question, there's no different. It depends how much money you have. Because if you have enough money to get your license, you can be a professional, right?
Okay.
Except for races that you have to qualify for, then it may come down to your skill. But a lot of the race, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, some of the Moto America races, if you can pay the entry fee, you can go race Moto America. And if you can do that, then you're a pro.
Let me cut you off for a second, if you don't mind. The question maybe it should have been worded: what's the difference between a paid professional and someone that's like an amateur? Like the mentality and what it takes to be at that level. Like, what do they do differently than an average? Like, put the skill aside, maybe the talent aside. I mean, what are they doing different?
I think even that's different too. I think that's just, it's on the individual. I think that people who have really good marketing skills are going to get other people to pay them to do stuff. I think if you're not, I recently saw a interview with Josh Herron on, I think it's Gypsy Tale podcast, and they talked a little bit about finances and stuff like that, and how it's different today as far as you have to be more independent in the sense of like you got to be social media savvy. You got to be doing all these other things and making all these other connection where once upon a time you probably just had to ride. So I think professional is somebody who, whatever job you have, if you make 50 grand a year versus somebody who makes 100 grand plus, sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's skill as far as the sales, right? Because it comes down to sales. And I think we see like the Josh Herron and the Cam and some of these guys. I hear stories how they've been able to make a very good living from racing, where there's other guys. I hear how they're struggling to keep a seat because they can't raise the money to have that seat, much less not even worrying about if they have to raise money. And I don't know what that comes down to. I don't know why. I don't know what it is in the sauce that somebody will say. And I don't mean to pick on Josh Herron on these guys, but PJ Jacobson on these guys, that some of these, they, for whatever reason, they've been able to convince people to just invest in them without them having to come out their pocket as much. I don't want to mention the other riders because, it's just not fair for that because they're all struggling. Some of them are still struggling to get a seat.
Yeah. That's a great, interesting perspective on that, and Shakes, I was curious about what you thought too, man, because you started getting into this recently about Moto America and stuff. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna take the easy way out, the biggest cop out ever. Some people are just built different. There's just some guys that, because when you look at everything, Moto 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, this, that, there's always the cream of the crop that always rises to the top, right? There's always one guy that's just always the best out of everybody else. And it's just the top 1%. And I think you could throw a lot of money at people, but if you just don't have that God-given talent, I know that sounds like a cop-out, but I just think it is. Even when it comes to height. So I'm 5'9". I think that 5'8", between 5'7" and 5'8" is the perfect ride height.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, but there could be anomalies. There could be guys that could be tall or short that rides better. But if you're in between that height range, it just seems that it's just a natural position for you. And that's just God-given talent, right? You can't shrink yourself. Reflexes. Some people reflex. Some people have total recall. Some people can react quicker. Some people don't react quicker, but they can know, okay, I know I have to start braking here because last time. So I think it's the gods. And
It's not
sometimes money can't fix that.
Right.
Sometimes
That's not a cop-out. That's a pretty good answer, man. That's a pretty good answer right there. And I think that's very true. Rex had a great point. Shakes, Rex came from the standpoint of like the marketing standpoint. It's
Right.
different to even become popular to where people just believe in you and invest in you. And Shakes has the genetic answer, which also is a big part of that. Definitely. A taller guy's going to have to try harder on a smaller bike than the smaller guy is, right? Definitely. You're going to go faster naturally to the point where they got to put ballasts on and give the guy some candy cap there. Jordan, what do you think about that?
I've got a different take on a couple of things, but when Rex talked about Moto America riders, they just pay to play. I know for a fact that you pay to play, but you still have to qualify. I've seen racers and I've wrenched with racers that didn't qualify when they spent their money, hard-earned money, to go out there and race, make it to the pits and everything, got the bike set up, blah 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 blah. Went to qualifying 1, qualifying 2. I'm not gonna mention any names, but they raised the bar a little bit. And if you don't catch up, I think right now is 120% of the pole time. So if you don't make that cut, you're sitting out and you're literally waiting and literally as a spectator like everybody else. So it sucks.
Is that in all classes?
Correct. That's in all classes.
Okay.
All classes. So sorry to say that, but you if you don't make that mark, then you're a spectator like everybody else for the weekend. Mm-hmm. Not just like for one race, for the weekend. You're done.
Yeah.
So what Shakes was also talking about, I'm 5'6" I've shrunk as I joined the military and jumping out of perfectly good airplanes kind of shrunk me down from 5'7" to 5'6", 5'6.5". So for me, I am still a semi-average. I wouldn't call myself a novice racer, but I'm a pretty semi-average professional racer. Like I said, I've raced with some big names. Obviously, they had better equipment than I did. So they kind of, took off on me a little bit. But our trap times relatively were really close. So if I had, 20 more horsepower and whatever suspension setup they had, Olean's probably, I probably would have been right next to whoever there was that was in front of me. So skill level does have that a play into it, as well as Bobby said, that God-given talent. I know plenty of people, and I'm gonna mention one name that people kind of shunned upon a couple years ago, and that's JD Beach. JD Beach, if you don't know who he is, fantastic, spectacular, great guy who races very, very fast, who has a speech impediment. He stutters. And a couple of years ago, before he went to therapy, he stuttered very, very bad. And he had a kind of like a guilt trip because every time he wanted to convey something or say something to somebody or even have an interview, they almost passed him by numerous times. And even though he was top on the list, even won some races and stuff, they bypassed him because of a speech impediment. But he went to some coaching, went to some classes. He got his speech impediment down. So he's actually doing a lot better, but he still is fast. So he had that God-given talent that he was balls fast compared to 95% of us on the track. But, he wasn't like Rex said, that market material that people wanted to see, people wanted to hear. So they kind of put him to the wayside. He looked good on pictures. Great. Graves Yamaha, numbers. I think it was number 6 for a hot minute, while Josh was number 8. They was great marketing for an interview. Oh no, go to him.
Wow.
Go to Josh Herron. Go to Josh Hayes. Go to him. Go to. So yeah, they did that. But I think it's a combination. If you have that God-given talent, sorry to say, yeah, with a lot of us, with this market, with this sport, that you have to pay to play. But I don't want the people who have all the money to get the best equipment, and you always see them all the time. I would love to put some money together and form a team that promotes talent, and that's what Motor America is trying to do right about now. The Spanish companies and stuff like that, they've got a great marketing to where they're getting the younger youth involved in motorcycle racing very, very young and mentoring them to get to the MotoGP. Same thing as Italy. They've been doing it for a very, very long time. And sorry to say that, we're kind of on the back edge of that because we're America and we like our muscle cars and our drag strips and stuff like that. But hopefully with the likes of the Tornado Boot Camp and various other star schools with Jason Pridmore, we can start promoting that stuff and getting a lot of people involved, younger people and even older people involved.
So Jordan, just to cut you off for a second, what was if you could tell us what I think we lost track there for a second. What's the difference? What is your opinion on the difference of amateur versus pro, you think?
It's a combination. It's the
combination of all that. Yeah, I agree.
It's a combination of all that. If you have the skill set,
right? Yeah,
it's not just one thing. One thing may topple over one or another, depending on where you need to be at. And having a good manager that says, hey, he's got the face for it. He's fast. Maybe have some good marketing behind him, but letting his God-given talent that Bobby said, let that shine. If he doesn't, not the fastest one on track, because I believe Max Flinders, he's not the fastest guy on the track because he doesn't have all the greatest equipment, but he's always consecutive. He's always close to top 10 for the past 2 or 3 years. And the dude, if you see this, you would see the lines literally wrap around him in the paddock to where fans know that yellow banana. And it's just like, I want to get a picture with him. I want to sit on that bike, blah, blah. He has that marketing, but like I said, he's not top tier. He's not getting on a podium all the time, but God bless, he did get on a podium with his Monkey Works Indian.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will point one thing out, Jordan. You mentioned a couple of schools and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of schools. Same thing up north with Penguin School. I think a lot of these racers, like
SYSC, something like that. NYSC. Yep.
No. This is our Penguin Racing School. What we saw in the Junior Cup and what we've been seeing is the efforts of a lot of these former or older pro racers that are putting back into the community and stuff like that. We unfortunately, Rossi had hit when did he start with Simicelli, right? So I think the US we're just years behind. on catching up to Spain and Italy and stuff like that. And that's the downside. But I do believe, definitely 10 years, probably even closer to 3 years, 4 years, that we'll see some U.S. guys and maybe women in the top level. From the efforts that people are, and the same thing like what we're doing as well. I think it is definitely the motorcycle community in the last 5-6 years is continuously making an effort to grow the sport and let it. So because I see more young kids on the track than ever before.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we need.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I agree with all that. Everything plays a huge part in who becomes a pro, who becomes an amateur. I think mindset's a big one, and like I like to always focus on things I can control. Some things are out of control, like genetics. I don't control that. I am a bigger guy. I'm a taller guy, but what I can control is my weight. Right. I'm gonna skinny down to what I need to be. People call me skin and bones, but it's for a season, baby. I'll bulk back up. It's okay. So there's things we got to sacrifice. And I think I read a great book called One More by Ed Milet. And it talks about just you got to do that one more rep when you're in the gym. You got to go that one more minute. Yeah, you got to shave that one more second. So in order to do that, you got to do one more rep in the gym, or one more mile on the racetrack, or one more mile on the running track, whatever you're doing, to just differentiate yourself from that average, or even the person above average that does everything they need to, but they don't go one more rep. It's a great mindset to have. And frankly speaking, some of these people never even have to do that because they're blessed with the genetics, or they're blessed with the right motorcycle package, the right engine, the right, trainer, the right situation to just flourish. And that's the case. And I think when you get to the top of the heap, you start seeing that one more rep really differentiate the riders. Like Marquez, that guy's putting in one extra rep everywhere. The guys that are going motocross training, all that stuff. So
how much of that is we might be going off topic a little bit. How much of that is luck, or is it just showing up in the gym? Because we hear the people that Kobe went against, that Rossi went against growing up and stuff like that. Hamilton, pick all the sports. There's always Jordan, the guys that motivated them because he got the last spot and I didn't. Is it just sheer will? Is it just universe at the right time? Because I gotta assume some of these guys and women are like, I did all the right things. I showed up at the gym early like everybody else did. I did all the right things, and I missed the one train or whatever.
Okay, so what's luck? All right, let's break that down. We'll take LeBron James, for example. Was he the tallest genetic freak ever? Sure, that's luck for sure, right? Was he born to the right parents where they allowed him to go to the right school to have a basketball team even? That's luck. No, was he born, or scenarios like that? Was he born in a situation where he even got to do that? Some things are just luck. Take all the luck things aside, and there is a lot of dedication and hard work that goes in that most lucky people won't do and won't do to get to that level. Right. That is the differentiating factor of someone like LeBron and someone else, I think, or someone to just take that talent to the next level. Sure, there's a lot of pros that don't need to do that and don't ever do that.
But there's a lot of people that do all those things and don't get there, right? That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that do all those things, show up, put in the time, right there next to so-and-so, whomever, and.
But guess what, Rex? What happened? That's the majority of people in life. And anyone that can do all that, they usually excel somewhere in life because the mental fortitude you have to do to be able to do something like that in any aspect of life, you can carry it anywhere, I think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, that's true. Whatever you do learn, but there is still, but this didn't happen.
Oh yeah.
A little luck. A little luck won't hurt.
It's luck. I like what 2 Chainz says. It's called grinding. It's grinding and timing come together. Opportunity meets luck.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't that what it is?
I think so. I definitely think so. And that's the hard. So it's really to go back to pro and amateur and stuff like that. I think we all start out as amateurs in whatever it is that we're trying to do, and everybody's path is going to determine whether they're professional or not. I mean, I think as a person, if you believe you're skillful enough, it's easy for us to sit here and talk about, mechanics or tuners and stuff like that. There's somebody in obscure somewhere that's 4 hours away, but he's the best or she's the best, right? So and they don't do any marketing whatsoever or none of that stuff, but they're just really good, right?
Yep. It's
Yeah.
some people just get lucky. Yep.
Yeah.
I always heard that hard work beats talent every day, right? We all heard that, right? If you're hardworking every day, you're bound to get lucky.
Fair enough.
I think it's very hard. I mean, Rex, you could be right and I could be wrong, but if you're at it every single day, and if you can't make it, then does that go back to God-given talent where you just can't correct certain things? You're just making the same mistake over and over and over and over again. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, you crashed in turn 5 every single time, every single race. Like, what is your problem? You know what I mean? Why are you doing wheelies? You know what I mean? What is that?
We have also heard, the Michael Jordan era again, the Lewis Hamilton era. These number 2s and number 3s, right? Whatever sport they're in, whatever industry they're in, the number 2s and number 3s. You came along at the wrong time. You look at tennis. If you weren't Nadal or Federer or Djokovic, you came along at the wrong time. I mean, James Blake was dope. Isner, some of these other guys were really dope. And if they came in a different era, they'll be a god.
So, okay. So let me pose something to you. All right. Let's go back to Marquez and Rossi, right? Where I've always heard that Honda had the best frame for racing. Like the Honda frame is just the absolute best.
Mm-hmm.
Yamaha at the time had the power. Here's a question. If there was no Valentino Rossi, how many championships would Marquez has?
The same amount.
Debatable. He did have
maybe one more.
He did have his poster up in his room up until they crashed. He crashed him out until he kicked him off the bike. He did have his poster. Then he ripped it. He said it in the documentary. He said it. So
there you go, Rex. I mean,
yeah, but Rossi hasn't won a title since Marquez was winning a title.
I think this question is even more appropriate for Jordan Kobe. It's very similar in a lot of sports like this.
Yeah. No, it is.
Like
it is.
Like some people said, like Peyton Manning was cursed because he was in the Brady era.
Right, exactly.
But Peyton Manning wasn't really that good.
Okay, so
we hear it with Lamar. I love Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is my homie. That's my homie right there. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, who else? Whatever.
What's his name? And Josh Allen.
They keep on making mistakes, and then everybody's saying, "Oh, they're in the Patrick Mahomes era," where you see Patrick Mahomes just continue to excel all the time and recorrect and not make the same mistakes. Gotcha.
So you're saying is Charles Barkley wasn't that good, and there's
I honestly believe that.
Need to accept that.
There's only one human being on the planet, and I thought there were 2 human beings, and you guys corrected me when we talk about Marquez and the Valentino Rossi era, right? Sure. It would be Scottie Pippen is claiming that if he had went to the Atlanta Hawks, he would have won more championships than the Chicago Bulls. Right. That's the only human being that I've heard could say that.
He said that?
Yeah. He said that.
Yeah.
And just how I think...
he did go to the Blazers after... Chicago.
So you're telling me that he said he would get more championships with Dominique than with Jordan?
Yes.
That's an insult to Jordan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of an insult in general because now you got 2 dunkers instead of 1.
It's an insult to Rodman not as much as Jordan, but it's an insult to the whole team.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's a little different with team sports versus individual sports, even though even individual sports, there's still a team behind you.
Right.
For a team to get to that stage, everybody has to work together. For a racer, if obviously there is a team, but if the bike feels pretty good, I don't want to say rideable, not rideable. If it feels pretty good to you, you can make all the difference in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I've ridden some pretty okay bikes, and I'd say I hurt some people's feelings, but definitely did some decent lap times. Like I said, it wasn't even my bike. So I mean, yeah, if I'm not, like I said, I'm not God gift to motorcycle racing, but I'm average. I'm okay.
Right.
But yeah, if you
I
can
got a
definitely
question for y'all. A question for y'all. You put Marquez and Rossi in the same era, all right? On the same bike, same team rather. So they have no differences.
Mhm.
And they're the same age, same, the prime, in their prime.
Yes.
All
Who'd
right.
win?
Same bike. Wait, who would win? One word answer, and then why?
You guys go first.
Jordan, one word answer, just one word. Why? Who would win? One word answer, and then explain. You can explain.
I need a moment to think.
Oh, he was biting the lip. He was biting the lip. Well,
Right.
I posed the same question, but I think Rossi is a dog.
Dog.
Yeah. Yep.
Dog. He's just cut differently.
Yeah.
He's just cut differently. And I think that he would have got the seat. He would have been the factory right. They're all on the same team.
Right. I know you said one word, but and I'm gonna follow up with. I agree completely with what Shakes is saying. Rossi, Jordan, Federer, Serena. These are just Michael Jackson. They just killers. They just they don't they sleep well when they take your lunch money. if they know they left the nickel on the table, they ain't sleeping well. You know what I'm saying? They want everything. And Rossi is the benchmark. Jordan is the benchmark. Serena, Federer is the benchmark. This is what you have to be alpha, for lack of a better word. Alpha doesn't necessarily mean male or female, just mean a mindset, right? So Casey had to learn to be like Rossi, right? Marquez, I think, had to learn. Lorenzo, I had to learn to be like Rossi. Rossi didn't have to learn to be like anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop biting your lip, Jordan.
Come on, Jordan. Let's take two for this team now.
I'm gonna say Marquez.
All right.
Here's the reason why. Well, you said explain why.
He didn't get help for one of those championships, and Rossi never got any help.
Well, Rossi back in the days when he was fighting against Max, he had a, not say the carrot to kind of dangle, but he was battling at least one or two people. Sete Gibernau, Max Biaggi. He actually literally fought Max Biaggi. Sete Gibernau, they got into words a couple times, even with Casey Stoner. So he always had something like,
You're not going to win again.
So he, I'm not saying he had the carrot to dangle, but he had the carrot to dangle. He had somebody to fight with Marquez. He's had a lot of that talent from same thing like Valentino, but he's had a lot of that talent. But the only thing he had was somebody who was, like I said, older than him. He never really battled anybody his age coming up. So he's literally done this on his own.
Again,
okay.
Rossi had Simoncelli. What other Italians did he have?
Simoncelli was 13 years his junior.
Exactly.
He brought him up.
Right.
But if you look at Marquez, he was actually racing with them.
You had Pedrosa, you had the Spargo brothers. The whole grid was full of Spaniards,
and he prevailed.
Yeah, but that. And that's why we see where Spain is where it is with motorcycle racing now, and everyone else is trying to catch up. But like Rossi was kind of, he was alone in the sense that, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying that Valentino didn't trailblaze, because he did. He definitely trailblazed. But to think that if both of them were on the same team, same bike, same equipment, like I said, I'm gonna pick Marquez.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, Jordan?
Please.
Rossi, Marquez, same team. Who's the dog?
Oh, Valentino.
Okay.
Valentino. I mean, Valentino will pull out stuff, which he's already shown. He'll make some dirty moves and be like, "Hey, back it off. This is my team." Blah blah blah. He'll do something like that because he's done it before. I think Marquez will just not say almost say not really outclass him. I think he'll just outskill him because he's done it before to where I think the reason why Valentino did the dirty move was because he was trying to get away. Marquez was pulling away. Then he had to catch up to Marquez again. Hey, slow down, get out my way. And he was constantly doing it over and over again. And I mean, if given the chance, I think Marquez would have checked out at least about a good half second. Like I said, but not say like I said, fast guys. I mean, I wish I was as fast as those guys. Marquez, I think, would definitely prevail.
Okay. I'll give my response. And I think there are a lot of similarities, right? I'll say the word. If you want to say it, I'll say reaction time. It's 2 words, but I'll say why. If there's a great book by Tim Grover, if you guys know who that is, it's the guy that trained Jordan. It's the guy that trained Jordan and Kobe. It's the guy that trained Wade. He basically counted which footsteps they took more and which they looked weaker on. He would train that leg more. This guy was a genius, right? When it came to fitness training, he wrote a book called Relentless. Amazing book. He talks about closers and cleaners. What's the difference? A closer, I'm going to paraphrase it. He talks about a closer is someone that, takes the last game-winning shot. A cleaner is that one that makes it every single time or majority of the times. And the one they hand it to that they know is going to handle the job the best, who's going to get the job done. Both of these guys are cleaners. There's no question about it. These guys are the ones, and that's why we're having this debate. Right. Both are dogs. You can argue, and I can almost agree that Rossi's a bit more of a dog. And I would say Mark has a bigger heart, so he has more of a heart. So when it comes to feeling and I think he has more of a heart with that energy, Spaniard energy, that heart, that fight, so that dog can come out of him. So I wouldn't count him out. Right. One thing I'd say that differentiates him is better hand-eye coordination, reaction time, hands down, unarguable. Never seen Rossi save like that consistently, that many times. So if you wins one more, hands down, he's got to be the best just off that fact. We can argue that his competition was better and worse. We can argue this, that, the rule change and all that, just like they do in NBA. Can't argue that. Drop the mic.
You can say Rossi had a good enough feel that he didn't have to save it as much. He
didn't ride a bad enough bike like that for long enough either.
He had the Ducati. He had the Ducati. He had the same Ducati that Casey had. He had the same Ducati that Nicky Hayden had, and he was tucking the front and beating the bejesus out of that daggone thing just the same.
Yeah. No, it's listen, I know it's apples and apples between the both of them. And I think it's really it depends on the era, because we probably should have said which era, because I think, Rossi's era, it was more cutthroat than Marquez's era and stuff like that. But Marquez, yeah, right. I will give Marquez could probably ride a bad bike better than Rossi could. I think he has cat-like reflexes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't someone go to someone's house and just break their record, or is that just rumor at their own dirt track in their own house?
If you're talking about the Rossi Ranch, I don't know. I don't. Has Marquez
went there, beat him, and that's why they stopped talking.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I did not
know
that.
Look it up.
Yeah, I gotta call JD Beach about that because he just went over there not too long ago. So I'll find out.
I mean, that's some. Yeah. It's. I think where they're at now is probably the best because they're talking and I think where sports are in general. Not to say I don't miss the era, but the era of Jordan. These guys, they still live 50 years later. They still hate each other. You know what I mean? That kind of era is different than where there's a lot of love. But when they're on the track or on the court, they're dogs. And that's different than 15 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. Rules change, things change, bikes change, engines change, tires change, aerodynamics are getting really ridiculously stupid with that change. I mean, there's a whole bunch of change going on.
Right. And before we wrap up, With these crashes over the weekend, does Morbidelli look like he has a chance to win? Is it really just going to be between Marquez and Pecco?
Podium. He'll get a podium. No, he's not going to win. He'll get a podium. He'll get a couple podiums. He's not going to win.
Yeah, he'll get some podiums.
Yeah, he's not going to win.
No.
Not going to win.
Shakes?
Thanks. Put the red light back on.
Yeah, you saw me going for
Costume change.
Is there anyone else?
A switchboard for you.
Listen, up until the rule change, it's for Ducati to lose.
Yeah, okay.
It's for them to lose it. It's not for anybody to take it from them. It's up to them to lose it. And look at the standings, right?
Yeah.
It's up to them to lose it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So Aldeguer, the rookie, is he and we can wrap up after that. Is it just, I mean, we shouldn't worry about it because it's just the first day of practice, but he finished fourth. I mean, I agree. And Samcat, they're further down on the list.
He's a good prospect. I think he'll be consistent. But I think, like I said, middle of the season comes in. I don't think he's been at all the tracks, so he doesn't know every single turn, every single layout. So he's got a learning curve ahead of him. I think a couple of rounds, he's probably much going to be somewhere mid-pack. But I think he's going to be a good rookie to see where he lands. Hopefully, if he doesn't, do anything crazy like the rest of everybody's doing on day one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's eye to keep on for sure. We got to keep an eye on that rookie there, and I think where are we going next? Thailand. Yeah,
Thailand
so
first round going to be in.
We'll see what happens, right? That's ultimately we'll start showing everything, and that's where we can start murmuring a little more, chattering a little more, and see what's going on who's. That'll be a good thing to talk after for sure, Rex.
Yeah,
no doubt. Thailand is the first round at the end of the month. So after this weekend.
Yeah.
So what's the next testing site after that? It's going to be Australia.
Hang on, let me just do all events.
After Thailand.
They got another event. Argentina's the next test.
Oh, my bad. There's testing in Thailand on February 12th and 13th. And then, so it's February 12th and 13th.
Yeah,
they'll test again, and then they'll start on the 28th of February in Thailand.
Okay.
It's around the corner, man. I'm looking forward to it. Let's tell folks how they can connect with you guys and how they can reach out to you on social media.
All right, who's first?
Cheetah 740, man. Just Instagram and YouTube. Easy.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Depends on the day, Bobby.
At Bobby Shakes everywhere. Don't forget, go to milkandcookies.com, promo code Bobby Shakes. Get all your fruit snacks and soda and crazy flavored potato chips. I'm not getting on the grid, so I can have some potato chips.
That's your company? That's your company, Bobby?
Yeah, Milked and Cookies. Check it out.
Milkedandcookies.com?
Milkedandcookies.com, promo code Bobby Shakes. Sure. Yeah, and get all your crazy Chinese snacks for the tariff comes out.
Oh my God, my wife's about to ring up a bill on that website.
We've got the craziest snacks. I mean, crazy.
It's over. Yeah, she loves it. We're gonna be a good customer, trust me.
Check it out.
Really, really sweet. Jordan Long Unlimited under all the platforms besides Twitter, aka whatever the X thing, whatever it is. Just look for the logo. Jordan Long Unlimited. Can't miss me. I'll be at the first round at Moto America here in Atlanta, and then I'll be at the next one at Barber. I'm gonna try to make all the rounds, and I'm gonna definitely shout out my peoples. So just make sure you see the logo, JL Unlimited, Moto America will be there with you.
No doubt.
Love it,
B4evaKool.com. Also go to Freedom Cycle NH. Mention B4evaKool. Get some discounts on parts and bikes. And also go to bobbyshakes.com and mention B4evaKool and get discounts on the video and whatever else Bobby Shakes is selling over there.
Shakes is live. Shakes is live. Shakes is live is the new site.
Shakes is live.
Hey, listen, man. Let me tell you something, Jordan. I'm gonna lose some weight, and you're gonna see me in my paddock stuff. I'm trying to put my Yamaha race shirt on, and it came to right here, Jordan.
Oh man.
Hey, we'll go to the gym together. I gotta lose some pounds also, so we'll go to the gym together.
I'm just joking. You could have it. I'm good. I've got the double X hoodie. As long as I can fit the double X hoodie, I'm good.